Okay.
Just kidding. I muted myself.
Yeah, you did.
Here we go.
I muted myself.
And away we go.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a team and DJ on the ones and twos. By the name Elzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two. And prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? Welcome to another weirdo episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 387, recorded Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. Tonight, we're talking about another Patreon pick. This one was chosen by your boy Alex K. The movie is 2015's The Gift. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy Randu. What's up?
Pumpkins.
What's up, baby? Pumpkin season is upon us. How you doing?
Pumpkin season. I am drinking a Southern Tier Warlock currently. That's how
shit.
I'm doing.
Whoa.
I got me some pumpkins in the fridge and some pumpkin brew from a place called Lakefront Brewing that Becky and I went to when we were visiting Milwaukee once. So I'm excited. I'm pretty psyched, and I'm trying not to blow my pumpkin gordish load too early. But
Man,
Target's rolling shit out, and so am I.
They are. I got some Oreos from Target today that are like pumpkin spice flavored. They're so nice. So nice.
Man. It's a shame that flavor got completely obliterated by every side of a dumbest argument of all time. It's like trying to talk about Die Hard without talking about is it a Christmas movie, or talking about hot dogs without talking about if it's a sandwich or not. And I don't care about any of those things. So let me have pumpkin spice, motherfucker.
Oreos are cookie sandwiches. Last but not least, calling in from South Korea, we got our boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? Bitch, your boy Diddy Stains. Who's your Diddy, ladies?
Diddy Kong is my Diddy.
Oh, there you go. That's the perfect Diddy.
Yeah, the monkey tie-in. It's all coming together.
That's the Diddy that keeps on diddling.
I set him up. Randy knocks him out.
Randy diddles.
Whoa.
Okay, well,
and Rob creeps us.
Okay?
Rob creeps us out again.
Yep.
Interesting. European style.
Yeah.
We call him old finger penis Randy. He's always running around.
I'm Andy the weirdo. Oh, I just
Oh,
want to lay down and have funsies with you.
I don't remember what he says, but
Oof.
that's my Bateman.
Nailed it.
Woo.
You nailed it.
That's my Patrick Bateman impression.
Bateman, Randy.
Mr. Bateman.
Bateman.
Oh, boys. Let's tackle some housekeeping real quick.
Hi.
So we're in a new month of September, which means our September poll pick has officially closed. Hell House LLC is the victor, so we'll be talking about that very soon.
Whoa.
Alien simply evil.
Evil.
Love it.
Ooh, thank God we don't have to talk about Rob Zombie Deuce.
And we never will.
And we will never, ever,
you take it.
Ever cover it.
I swear on Justin's life, we will never cover Rob Zombie's Halloween show.
The best Halloween
May God strike
ever.
him down.
Damn, Randy, you put me on blast. In the heavens.
That does mean our October poll pick is currently posted over on our Patreon website. The theme for October is Halloween Extravaganza, and we're doing something a little bit differently here. So if you've been listening to us for a little while, you know we do like a big mega packed, either double or triple feature for Halloween time. And Randy, Justin, and myself have all handpicked a triple feature. They all have their own separate themes, and you guys are going to be voting on theme alone, and whatever wins, then the 3 movies will be revealed to you guys. So the 3 themes you're going to be voting between are Psycho Killer Qu'est-ce que c'est, They Dwell Within, and Eat the Rich.
Whoa, Bob. First week of September. How are those numbers looking?
They Dwell Within
Mm.
is winning.
Wow, the sexy pick, huh? They dwell within.
I'm about to dwell within, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Depends on what part of the rich we're eating.
Whoa, that's a good call, Randy.
The
It could,
butt.
it could be political, it could be sexual.
What is the butt toe? Are you the butt toe?
But I guess that's just politics in general, eh, boys?
Yeah, politics is eating a lot of butt for sure.
It's just eating butt. Rich butt. Yes,
It looks like it won't be musical, I guess.
It's
It's just
no.
eating the shit of rich people.
manja. Psycho Killer, Qu'est-ce que c'est, and Eat the Rich are almost tied. So get your votes
Okay.
in before the end of September, and we'll see what 3 movies we're talking about this October. In other Patreon news, we just dropped a mini cast last Friday on a movie called Washer that just hit Shudder. And we're going to be doing something somewhat new here. We're actually going to drop a brand new mini cast every Friday throughout the months of September and October this year. So,
Oh my God. Are we insane?
yes, we are insane.
Are we good to our listeners? Yes.
Never. Absolutely not. We're doubling down every week throughout September and October. That means we're dropping a new mini cast this Friday. We're talking, actually, Juice, you did this one. You talked about a movie called Glorious that just hit Shudder last week.
Yes. So this is a movie. This is an interesting movie. It's got J.K. Simmons in it, and it
Sexy.
is kind of about a haunted glory hole.
Oh no! I've had nightmares like this.
I often
I'm
haunt glory
I'm not
holes.
really exaggerating, except it's hard to describe. It's not necessarily haunted, but there is something sinister on the other side of a glory hole. But
There
I don't
always is.
I don't-
That's no different than
I don't
normal.
want to spoil exactly what kind of creature it is, but yeah, that's the premise.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with a bear.
And it's actually, it's all, this entire movie takes place in a rest stop, and most of it in a rest stop bathroom. So yeah, that's the premise.
God, what a time to be alive.
J.K. Simmons is in this film. He is the other side of the glory hole, and it's interesting. It's got a little bit of a black comedy kind of feel to it.
Oh no way! you think so? It's not.
It's
a straight
very
horror,
serious.
The glory hole movie.
It's a
The other
3-hour dramatic thriller.
It's
The
been
other
compared
side
to
of the
Schindler's
glory
List.
hole
Very
It's definitely our
cinematic.
memoir.
It's definitely
The
what
other side. Our memoir, The Other Side of the
on the
Glory Hole.
on the warm side of the glory
Glory
hole.
hole.
Damn, on the warm side. Huh?
Mm.
You want to be on the warm side, I assure you.
I don't know.
So-
if I do.
Slam that into your ear holes, dropping this Friday on our Patreon website. In other Patreon news, we got a brand new Patreon supporter we got to give mad shouts outs to. Big thanks to Truman G for signing up and showing us some love. Every dollar you guys contribute goes right back into the show. It really does help us keep things going. We appreciate the hell out of it. So as is tradition around these here parts, well, yo, Truman, the straight chillin' salute. This one goes out to you, my guy.
Slap my ass.
Slap my ass.
Ooh.
Thanks, Truman.
Thank you. That's my favorite part of the show. Thank you for contributing to it.
Mm,
The
We
ass
do love it.
slapping. Man, this has been the horniest intro we've ever done.
aren't
Really,
they all?
I mean, I feel like the past couple months we've all been
We're
pretty
just-
horny. Bob's talking about
Man.
banging himself last week.
That's
mean,
true. I'm just talking in the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
This is like the the podcast version of Swinging Dong in the credits right here.
A couple months ago, we were talking about selling doo-doo sticks. I mean, well, we've been all over the place this summer.
I don't even remember that, thank God.
Remember that either. I don't know.
It was
That's
that
the cold side of
documentary
the
about
hole.
that band and that old man who sticks drumsticks up his ass.
Yeah, he does
Oh.
do that. He does
Right.
do that.
Let's move forward. Not
we-
backward.
If you want to know what the fuck we're talking about, check out Jason Egg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Remembering Ralph has something to say.
We did reopen the You Pick the Flick tier this past Sunday, and I want to congratulate the 5 people that were able to lock down a You Pick for the 4th quarter of 2022. Congratulations to Dongster Sam, Nate S, Hydraberg, G Baby, and Jacqueline for locking those down.
Whoa, congratulations. How fast did they go this time, Bob?
It's like 2 minutes or something, like crazy fast, you
It
know.
was very quick.
Well, that's pretty slow, actually.
Let's we
Uh-oh.
expect more from our listeners. Oh,
I thought 10 seconds
Hmm.
flat, you know?
I thought y'all gave a shit. I guess not.
I guess
Whoa.
y'all don't like this
let's-
podcast. Okay.
We
Oh.
really are not in a position to be negging our listeners.
I guess you'll
Well-
never be able to buy those doo-doo sticks. Oh.
If you're
I'll
not
just
quick
sit in
on
my
the
freezer
draw-
for eternity.
my
God.
freezer, damn.
Frozen shit sticks. 69,
Now there's a
69. Yeah, that's all I got. You guys have anything you want to mention?
Before the next episode drops, so it's not going to be the week of this episode coming out, but it's going to be before our next episode comes out. We're going to have a brand new video popping up on YouTube. This is kind of different. This is not something we've ever really posted before, but it is an interview that was done. We didn't do it, but we were there for it, with Corey Taylor, the lead singer of Slipknot and Stone Sour. He was talking about like horror movies, his horror preferences and stuff like that. He also talks a little bit about his band's new music, and also kind of the death of some of his band members has happened over the past few years, at least, or whatever. It was a pretty interesting interview. I never really heard the guy speak before, but it was interesting. So I've got that recorded. I'm gonna post it up on YouTube so everyone can kind of enjoy it. I looked and I didn't see it anywhere, and so he talks about some pretty interesting stuff. I thought people would be interested in that, and it's horror related. So yeah, that'll be going up on our YouTube page sometime early next week.
Awesome.
Around here, that means big money.
Yes, sir.
Good shit. Yeah, check that out. I think our house is clean.
His house is clean.
Box me, Bob.
Oh, I'm gonna box you. All right. We're getting into the main event, talking about The Gift. Let's kick it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, do you have this box?
Got it right here. The blue box.
Bob, do you
Man.
have this tiki mug?
I have the
That's-
Jason Bateman finger penis tiki mug. I
Do you have a monkey tiki mug?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I have like a zombie mug that kind of, I guess you could interpret it as a monkey face, but it's not really.
Can I
okay.
pet
yeah.
peeve about the cover of that real quick?
Yeah, go.
Why
Go
the
for it.
fuck
Look
do
at
they
that.
have to plop that giant ass Rotten Tomatoes right in the middle of the goddamn thing?
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
no.
I didn't even see that, to be
It's-
honest.
Look at that.
That's
It-
all
it's a
I can
tip.
see.
It's ruining our
Oh.
game. We know it's
Oh,
fresh.
damn.
We know it's
Yeah,
fresh.
that-
Jesus Christ,
oh,
put it in the
yeah.
corner at least. Jesus, it does not
Yeah.
need to be right fucking
In the
there.
mid, yeah, wow.
It's the size of the actors' heads.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you pointed that out, Randy. So Bob didn't have an unfair advantage. He wouldn't have even told me, I bet.
How dare. How would I know to complain about this?
Fucking Bob wouldn't even tell me it was certified fresh.
Bob would just say, oh, yeah, it's certified fresh. I might get that hell yeet. I'm going to go
Oh, fuck
high.
yeah.
I'm going to go high.
Now I
on it."
know. Now I know what it is. We're talking The Gift from 2015.
Barely.
Thanks again, Alex, for picking this flick for us to review. This was written and directed and also starring Joel Edgerton. It also stars Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of the box is as follows. Jason Bateman, Joel Edgerton, Rebecca Hall star in a chilling psychological thriller that asks the question, can you really go through life having never wronged anyone? Simon and Robin are a young married couple whose life is going as planned until a chance run-in with Simon's high school acquaintance sends their world into a tailspin. At first, Simon doesn't recognize Gordo, but after a series of uninvited encounters and mysterious gifts prove troubling, a horrifying secret from the past is uncovered after more than 20 years. As Robin learns the unsettling truth about what happened between Simon and Gordo, she starts to contemplate, how well do we really know those closest to us? And are bygones ever really bygones? So many questions. So many questions.
I've got so many bygones, it's almost just a curve.
Guys, my bygones are
circle.
never
What?
bygones.
What? Justin is just talking.
What's my famous quote on here?
What's my famous quote?
Hey, will
Somebody
you guys quote me at me real quick?
What do you think my most famous quote is?
Like your opinion. What do you think?
What's
What do
your
you
favorite?
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Jill Mangs, had we seen this movie before, and would we recommend people check it out? Randu, Juice, why don't you kick us off?
Randy got too much swig of the old pumpkin over there.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
All right.
that went down the wrong pipe.
Got a mouthful of gourd.
I had never actually seen this movie before. I was like aware of it, but damn, Randy. But I'd never seen it. And I think this is a pretty well crafted film. It's got a lot of twists and turns. It's kind of like a dramatic thriller feel to it a little bit. I wouldn't say it's like horror all throughout, but this is one of those films that plays into kind of like real life anxieties, at least for me. You know, it's set pretty straight as like this could plausibly happen. Kind of home invasion type stuff we're dealing with, and so it made me like very uncomfortable a lot of the times, and that's something we'll get into. But yeah, I would generally recommend people check it out, but it's not like the easiest watch, and it's also not the most like thrilling thing ever. You know, it's a little bit slow at times, so but generally I think it's well crafted. Yeah. Bob, how do you feel about The Gift? Had you seen this before?
Yeah, I saw this once before when it first came out. I think I watched it with Randy, actually. So this is a second time round for me. And I dig this movie quite a bit. It's not like a bombastic kind of thriller, but it's more of like a slow simmer, like not quite a full boil. You know, it's like right underneath the surface, you know, shit's not quite right, and you just feel it in your gut, and the movie lets you sit with that for a while, and it's unsettling in a very effective way.
Yeah.
I dig on this movie a good bit, and I would say if you are into, you know, just general thrillers, I guess, you're gonna enjoy this. I would think I think it's a win for old Blumhouse. Randu, what about you?
Yeah, as you said, I first watched this with you, I believe. I mean, it must have been right after it came out on home video.
Yeah.
In 2015. Because I remember like watching this movie, really liking it, and it constantly being sitting on top of the bubble of choices when we were choosing our own movies. I was constantly toying with the idea of picking this movie. And its pacing is largely one of the reasons I didn't, because I wasn't sure everybody would get down on that. No, certainly not in our crew at the time. But yeah, I definitely recommend this movie. It is certainly not a strict horror movie by most people's standards. I would say it falls more cleanly into the thriller genre, psychological thriller genre. And it isn't like the quickest paced thing in the world. But for me, I was on the edge of my seat for like the third time, I've watched this at least 3 times now. And every time like I give it enough space between where I've forgotten some of the specifics, and it's given me, you know, a lot of the same revelations, and I've really enjoyed that about it. And I just largely would recommend this movie. I think it's a very effective movie at what it's attempting to do.
The space between the wicked lies we Yeah.
It's funny to think
Sounds-
about when we would pick movies, because I had like a going list too. Oh, what will I pick?
Yeah.
And we've just never covered them. We'll never get to Freddy vs. Jason.
They're lost to time until some
sure.
kind soul, like Alex, right?
Yes.
Alex, I almost whiffed that. Like a kind soul like Alex comes along to patronize us with a wonderful pick like this one.
Oh,
Mhm.
wicked
Thank-
alive.
Thank you for signing up on our OnlyFans there, Alex, patronizing us, and
If only.
only. So sounds like a pretty solid recommendation from the Straight Chilling crew here. Let's go ahead and drop that spoiler warning and get into the rest of the movie. Here we go.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, do you have this plot synopsis? And do you think there's a market out there for us on OnlyFans?
Yes, and absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of
It's
people
just-
that need dick ratings, Juice.
Nothing
Lot
but
of
finger
people.
penises, just
Mhm.
as far as the
Alright.
eye can see, baby.
Okay.
Just,
Mhm.
woo,
My mind's
look
pondering.
at this finger. Just look at it. Look at it dangling.
I be stroking.
Maybe.
Mhm. Yeah, I got the old plot synopsis. I'll blast through it real quick.
Please do.
Married couple Simon and Robin, they relocate to Los Angeles after Simon takes a new job. The two run into an old friend, Gordo. Gordo starts dropping by their home unannounced and leaving gifts like wine and some koi fish for their pond. They have an awkward dinner party, and Gordo repays the favor by inviting them over to dinner at his place. He has a very large, impressive house. Strangely, Gordo has to run out and handle a work issue, abandoning his guests in his living room. Upon his return, he says he lied. He actually had to go out and talk to his wife, who recently left him and took his kids. Simon confronts Gordo and asks him to stop coming around and to leave them alone. The next day, Robin finds their koi fish dead and their dog is missing. Simon goes back over to the house to confront Gordo and discovers the house doesn't belong to him, but instead belongs to his employer. Robin begins to suspect she isn't alone in the house. She finds faucets turned on and she hears footsteps. She then finds a note Gordo left agreeing to leave them alone, and it mysteriously alludes to something that happened between him and Simon in the past. Simon claims he has no idea what it is. Simon's up for promotion at work and finds out his only competition is that son of a bitch Danny McDonald.
Son of a
Robin
bitch.
becomes increasingly paranoid at the house and ends up fainting. As time passes, Robin becomes pregnant and the couple are doing very well. Simon's sister comes to visit and tells Robin that Simon and his friend reported Gordo was molested by an older boy in the back of a car in high school, causing him to be bullied and transferred to another school. Robin seeks out that other friend, Greg, who then tells her the molestation was a complete fabrication and Simon made it up. It also led to Gordo's father thinking he was gay, and he tried to burn him alive, which led to his arrest and Gordo being sent to military school. Robin confronts Simon, and he denies the story, but he also finds Gordo to apologize against his will. Gordo realizes the apology is insincere, and Simon beats his ass. Simon gets promoted and has a celebration at his house where Danny McDonald shows up. Danny McDonald shows up and assaults him. Danny claims Simon lied to their bosses about his work history, causing him to be passed over for the position. Robin goes into labor and gives birth to a boy. Simon gets fired for being dishonest, and Robin says she wants to separate. Simon leaves the hospital, goes home to shower, where he finds one final gift consisting of 3 parts. The 3 parts are keys to his house, a CD recording of the conversation he and Robin had at their dinner party, and finally a DVD of Robin fainting and a man in a monkey mask straddling her in bed, alluding to sexual assault and the possibility that the baby does not belong to Simon. Gordo goes to see Robin at the hospital and tells her Simon beat him up. Simon returns to the hospital and is called by Gordo, who won't confirm whether or not he did rape Robin. Simon breaks down in the hospital hallway as Gordo watches in satisfaction. He then removes the sling from his arm and walks away. Roll credits. Right, yeah.
I want to play a game. I want to play game, bait man.
Most people don't appreciate the gifts I get them.
I want to give your wife a gift.
Bob,
I'm
you
sorry.
have been on a hot streak of deviance lately.
I am a hot streak.
That's what was said.
That's
Oh,
what he
hot
said.
streak, Bob. I'm said it a
Hot
million
streak in his
times.
Finger penis juice. That's his nickname.
Man, you really stuck on the
And
finger
you're-
penis thing.
Yeah.
In that scene where Bateman is like acting like a complete asshole, it's like he's so good at it that it makes me wonder if he is like a little weird in real life. Like it's too believable.
He
Almost.
does
Is
a
that just
good
me?
job in this film.
Oh,
He
he's so
kills
good
it,
at
yeah.
this.
He does really
He is
good.
like he toes this perfect line between like being an unrepentant piece of shit and being able to play it off as being like, it's just talk, It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he does a great job at concealing himself, and it only like over the course of the film do you really start to get a full breadth of understanding of how much of a piece of shit he really is.
And actually, that's so. Since we're talking about that, let's segue into one of the major points I really want to talk about. I was kind of save it for later, but I really appreciate the setup of this film in the kind of gray area that it sets our main players up in. And I'm talking about Gordo, Robin, and Bateman, where each one of them has some kind of flaw problem, and each one of their like situations seem to kind of lead to this awkwardness, this problem but amongst them or whatever. But as it goes on, I was kind of a little disappointed at how far they then just leaned into how big of a piece of shit Bateman is. Because then it kind of took a little bit of that ambiguity away, a little bit of that kind of like gray area away, and really was just like, you should hate this guy until we get the flip at the end, and I wanted to pose the question. If the scene with Danny, okay, where Danny busts in the house and we find out that this guy threw him under the bus or whatever, made up stories, lied about him to get a promotion. If that was cut, if that storyline was cut, would you be more kind of understanding or sympathetic to Bateman's character if that wasn't a part of his character?
Wait, so when you're saying that, do you mean as if we had no idea that he did or would have done anything
Yeah,
like that?
if that thread was cut from this film, if there was no
That
scene
plot's
about
gone.
Danny and him throwing somebody else
It's
under
just
the
he got a
bus,
promotion. That's it.
So yeah, if it's just the story of these three people and how it plays out, every other piece otherwise, except for the Danny piece, which really just drives home the piece that, Bateman is a huge piece of shit. If that's cut, would you feel differently about this character?
No.
Okay.
I agree with
Not really.
Randy.
I wouldn't feel
Yeah.
differently. I think it like it's useful in that it is a way for us to see Gordo, and this is maybe based on a fan theory of my own, I guess, and you guys can tell me if you saw the same thing or if I'm just, extrapolating. But I took it to be, that character of whatever McDonald, he got this email, right? He saw this email that Jason Bateman wrote about him to the people hiring that would have hired him. It got him fired at this place based on fabricated bullshit. Now, how did he get that email? Gordo is my answer to that. And so I think it's just another prong of Gordo exacting revenge on this guy and like just basically taking everything away from him the way that it was taken from him initially. And I don't there's a whole conversation to be had about whether or not there's any heroes in this movie, but setting that aside for a second, I think that it's valuable for that reason, but I don't think that if you took it out, I would feel that differently about him, because the whole time it's very obvious that he's gaslighting the shit out of his wife the whole time. And even if you exclude that, there's all the shit he did involving Gordo. I would maybe have a little bit of sympathy for him, like in terms of like, okay, yeah, if somebody left these psalms on my windshield, maybe I would look into a restraining order or something like that. But I would tell my wife, and I wouldn't lie about it, and I wouldn't lie about my history. That what you could argue he forgot initially, but you can't argue that he forgot it all the way through because he knew and he got that information.
Sure.
I don't think there's any way around that. You're a piece of shit for what you've done in the past still, but you've grown into a different person who's just a piece of shit in all kinds of new ways, and that is why Gordo is exacting his revenge.
So
he hasn't really changed.
So I think that's more interesting to me though, because the idea, you know, if you take out the Danny piece, to me, how I see it is, yeah, like you're right. The whole lie then becomes his problem now. But in that way, everybody kind of has their own problems. And I find that more interesting. So for instance, in the past, Robin has had a problem with pills, you know, and they move to a new house and everything. And then she does a kind of similar thing. She's stealing pills from her friend and lying to her husband about it. And it's creating this bit of psychosis that's affecting their marriage as well. So Bateman's lying to his wife, which he shouldn't do. She's stealing pills, which he shouldn't do. And then fucking Gordo's over here busting into people's houses. We don't know how crazy he is yet, but I'm just saying, like, as far as problems that each person is creating to create this tension within the group, everybody kind of has a flaw that's adding to it in some way. But it's really, it drives home the fact that, like, see, Bateman is a huge piece of shit because of this Danny thing. But if that was taken out, I would at least be like, I don't know, his actions, except for lying to his wife, but like the restraining order and like the maybe even attacking Gordo and stuff like that might be more understandable.
Yeah, I mean, I think Robin is the only like innocent character here. I mean, she's flawed for sure, but I mean, like, Bateman ruins this guy's life. He could have fessed up back in the day. He didn't. Maybe he was scared. He was a kid, what have you.
Maybe he was oblivious, because bullies often are.
Yeah,
true. He's presented with an opportunity to apologize again and like sort of make things right by way of Gordo, and absolutely scoffs at the idea and lies to his wife to avoid even having to like come to that crossroad. And then, you know, it happens anyways. And she forces him to go apologize. And he just ends up beating the shit out of the guy and like doubling down. And I mean, obviously Gordo, like the whole an eye for an eye situation, which is like Gordo's whole character, basically like systematically dismantling Bateman's life, it's not okay for him to do that, but it is at least somewhat understandable that he would want revenge. He's a piece of shit. And, but I mean, like, it's at least somewhat understandable, like, why he would want to exact his revenge.
See,
you know?
I'm on the flip side of what Bob just said, where Bob's saying like, you know, I can understand Gordo. Okay. If the Danny part is taken out, I can actually understand Bateman better. Okay. Because you're right. He did ruin somebody's life, but he might be oblivious. And there's kind of hints that maybe he is initially. But the problem is when you said, oh, he beats the shit out of him, you have to remember that's after this guy has showed up at his house with his wife being alone several times, lied to them, got them to come to a house, stole his dog, killed his fish. Like, I would be, so on a personal level, if somebody kept showing up to my house and I expressed to my wife, like, this person makes me uncomfortable, I don't really like this person, I don't really want to communicate with them, and then I came home again and my wife had like invited him in under tense situations, but invited him in and like invited him for dinner, I would be pretty irritated at that situation, mostly at the guy. But also Robin just keeps like feeding into this relationship. Like, you need to talk to this guy. You need to understand. I'm like, don't just invite this stranger into your house waiting for your husband to come home. That's not great either.
She does that thing that we've mentioned on the podcast several times, where like you're too polite in to a point where you start to put yourself in danger because you're afraid of being impolite. Yeah. Robin does have that going on a little bit here, and like she doesn't know anything what Gordo's capable of, and at that point, none of us really do. I will just to circle back to one thing that you said real quick. I don't buy the fact that Bateman doesn't know what happened to Gordo because everybody else seems to, and it was like, quote, a very big news story. Like I think his sister says, it's like if his sister knows all about it, how the fuck does he not?
Well,
Like,
his
I don't
sister
really
has stayed
buy
in
it.
that city.
But I don't know, man. I don't know.
That is a good point, though. She's like, yeah, it's for a small town. It was
Yeah.
big news. She
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And he directly caused that. Like, I think that's a good point.
He probably does. Yeah.
And you know, like I don't know, I don't feel that way about Robin. To me, Robin is like I'm not gonna agree that she's innocent necessarily anything, and I think she probably is maybe a little too polite. But I think some of that is out of like something of a self-preservation. Like when she tells him to go, you need to apologize to this guy and actually get the hatchet buried so that I can sleep at night. That is a matter of pragmatism for her. Like, this is what's gonna make me comfortable is you coming clean with me and this guy and then just bearing this hatchet and letting it go away. And instead of doing that, he's too prideful to do that because as he states in this movie, Jason Bateman, I mean, he says there are winners and losers in the world.
Sure.
He is outright a manipulative, like psychopathic piece of shit.
It
just conceals it very well. So like, that's the thing. That's the key difference to me is like, while I can sympathize to some extent with everybody in this movie, I think it's easier to sympathize with Gordo to a certain extent than it is to Jason because their fundamental operating systems are based on two entirely different things. One is a man who is damaged by another guy when he was a child to a point where he was almost burned alive by his own father. And the other is this piece of shit who is willing to lie and manipulate anybody and anything so that he can quote unquote win at life. He does not care about anyone but himself and maybe Robin.
Hang on, though. That's a pretty extreme like claim. And I was like that Gordo is more sympathetic. He potentially raped somebody to get back at somebody else. I mean, I know that Bateman is, a piece of shit, and I feel like they lean on the gas like that scene where there are winners and losers. Like I was like, keep it a little bit more like tone. I like the little bit more ambiguity, the grayness area, but I would I mean, somebody who makes up a story as a child who doesn't know the effects it's going to have versus a grown person making decisions and breaking into somebody's house, drugging them, raping them is more sympathetic.
Don't yell at me, man. I agree with you. And I've been pointing at that since the beginning. We just have been talking about Bateman's character specifically.
Yeah.
And when you talk about Gordo, I'm saying that I can sympathize with what makes him tick, but not what he does. What he does is outright fucked up. Even if he doesn't rape this woman, all of it's fucked up. He is a twisted, and he's a villain. He is a villain in this movie, and he's just positioned the thing. That's what I'm pointing to when I talk about their modus operandi. The thing that makes both of them tick, that's what I'm pointing at. The thing that makes Jason Bateman's character tick is just craven self-promotion. The thing that makes Gordo tick, and the thing that makes Gordo tick is damage. And it's easier for me to empathize with one of those two things. That does not mean that I agree with either of their actions. And I do not certainly agree. Like, out of everything that's happened in this movie, I think that like what's really interesting is watching it this time is that Robin is just this fucking like horribly used pawn in this little like dick measuring contest between these two guys in their past. This little chess game that's been like playing out, simmering in the background, like Gordo's whole life anyway. And this had been totally rear-viewed by Jason Bateman. It just comes into the situation where she is just manipulated to the point where she might not know who the father of her child is.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Gordo raped her. Just based on the way he interacts with her, I feel pretty confident that what all he's doing, it's exactly what happened to him. People aren't sure whether like he could tell people he wasn't molested, but maybe he was.
Yeah.
And it's that seed of doubt that he wants. It's not the actual rape.
I agree with Randy. There is an alternate ending to this movie where he does reveal that he did not rape Robin.
Oh, is that?
I think it's more interesting to leave it ambiguous, but he does. There's a line he says at the end of the movie that I think really does show his cards a little bit. He says, see what happens when you poison people's minds with ideas. Like just planting that seed of doubt that in Bateman's mind, like maybe that kid is not mine, is just absolutely wrecking his life, amongst other
Yeah.
things.
I
But
think
I
so.
think that's really what he's going after here.
I
I
think so
agree.
too, because it really plays out in the same way as kind of like the dog situation. Okay. He kills the fish, which he gifted, and fish are a lot more like, you don't want to
Yeah.
kill anything, but fish are a lot more like, you know, you
They're
don't
not
cuddle
fluffy.
a fish and
Yeah.
then they don't look at you and love you. But
Maybe
like,
you don't.
well, I'm just okay.
That's the cold side of the door.
But the fish, I mean, but the dog, you know, that's more personal. But he leaves the dog alone. He doesn't hurt the
Mhm.
dog. He doesn't send the pieces of the dog or whatever. But he still sends those letters to let him know, like, I'm still involved in your life. So I tend to agree that he didn't rape her. But since they leave it ambiguous, you know, you have to discuss that possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether or not he did that, he still bugged their house, like ripped off this
Yeah.
guy's home. Like we know that he took that dog, even though there's no real proof of that. The things that we know
Yeah.
he did are enough to call him an undisputed piece of shit, in my eyes, anyway. In terms of like you are the actions you take, not not what's hidden underneath necessarily. You have to take accountability for the things you've done,
Yeah.
and I think he's perfectly happy with the things he's done, which is worse.
Well,
And that makes him, to me, on the same level as Bateman. It's just coming from a different concern. So that's what's interesting about it to me. And like Robin, to the extent that she like overexerts herself to make peace, I think that is a good instinct that is happening between two toxic individuals that cannot get past their own hangups or what has happened to them and see what it's doing to her, and like
yeah.
that it's unreasonable to bring this woman's life crashing to a halt as a de facto method of revenge, or as a method of I don't know, like just getting a trophy wife, whatever it is that these guys want out of her. It's always a move in this movie. And I just feel so bad for her the whole time, even with her pill problem. Like the gaslighting that goes on between her and her husband is fucking next level shit. It is so painfully obvious on especially on multiple viewings how much he's manipulating her.
Mhm.
And it's so hard to watch and just then have her like one fatal flaw, which is, oh, you're an unreliable narrator because you had a pill problem and you do pills. That makes it interesting as a viewer, but it makes it so fucking hard for her to nail this guy. And I was so fucking thrilled at the end of this movie when she's like, I don't want to be with you, period. And I was like, thank God for that.
Well, I like it too. Well, so that's what I'm saying. I really like the first part of this movie where it's more of a balancing act, because again, technically Bateman was right. You know, when he's like, if you just take the beginning of this film, minus like the gaslighting and the there are winners and losers speech and stuff like that. If you're taking of like, there's this guy, okay, and we just kind of bump into him and he keeps showing up at the house and he's like, he's weird. And Robin wants to defend that. And I kind of am a little bit more sympathetic in this way, because I feel like of the friend group, I'm always like the kind of paranoid one of like, these people are weird. And like Rob particularly is always like, people are wonderful. They're so great. Everyone's
I say that
wonderful.
all the time.
But just like in general,
Ooh,
but
she's a fancy
technically, like Bateman's correct. And seeing something in somebody that other people can't see where you're kind of worried about it, I mean, is maybe just a little bit more sympathetic to my own emotions, where I'm like,
maybe.
technically Bateman was correct. This dude is a huge creeper who has serious nefarious intentions for Robin, but she can't see that. She just went, oh, he's a good guy. He set up our TV.
Bateman knows what he did to him, and he's right.
That's
He
true.
could bury the
If
hatchet
he was
from the beginning,
you
honest,
know?
yeah, if he was
Yeah.
honest, then it really truly
And
would
that's
have
the thing.
protected.
He doesn't
his
have
life.
this third eye situation where he can see through people. He just knows he fucking ruined this dude's life, and he's suspect.
And he
and
might
he's so
be out
nice.
for revenge.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
he doesn't
Yeah.
want that reminder of his deeds hanging
That's
around,
true.
especially around
That's
his
true.
wife.
That's
So,
true.
like, to me, I think that you have to ignore a lot of Bateman to get to that point. And I think that, like, I can understand that point of view from like a visceral level. Like if you don't want to be around somebody and your wife or significant other or whatever is interested in like having them around or is more amenable to them, then that's when you be honest with him. Like, look, there's some bad blood here.
That's true.
I can't have this guy around. It makes me upset. If he shows up again, that scares me. Could we not do this?
That's
and like,
true.
I don't think that she honestly, like, that's the thing that I'm getting a little bit hung up on here is like, I don't see her as doing a ton of that. The major line she draws is where she's like, you need to go apologize to this guy or else I'm not going to sleep at night, which I think is not what I would do, but an understandable reaction for her. Like, but like earlier on, I think it's just a matter of like, just maybe a little overly polite, but nothing crazy. Like the guy showed up twice before. I don't know. And then the dog thing,
He left
like,
a gift.
that's another gaslighting thing.
Yeah,
the
he left a
gift or
gift
whatever.
at their home without them giving his address or contacting him. Okay, that's what.
Yeah, they
Then
say
he
his address
showed
in
up
front
like
of him.
2 or 3 times, knowing the wife was alone, and invites them to a dinner. And that was like, I was thinking about that too, because he obviously sets up the situation where he's recording the house. It's not his house. So he set up that situation where he's recording them in somebody else's house. And I kept thinking about, oh, he was going to feed them. Like, he was like, okay, let's have dinner. I was like, was he planning on drugging her that night or something like that? I don't know. I wasn't sure.
Maybe. I didn't think about that. But like, the thing is, like, you can't, like, we don't know that until later. I'm just going from her perspective as she's traversing through the movie. I think her reaction to stuff is maybe I don't think it's so egregiously overly forgiving. I think it's fair for her to sit there and be a little bit, especially like having, you know, heard some of the things this guy says about things. Like, I don't know, some of the ways this guy is talking. The fact that he's in the military, the fact that he's clearly like a damaged person. And I think it's okay to be sympathetic to that and to be understanding of somebody having like social foibles. You know, being an awkward person isn't a crime. And if your husband is especially being a dick to him, about him, especially in private company and talking shit about this dude, like to an pretty extreme degree for mixed company, I can see being a little defensive. Like, hey, you're being kind of an asshole about this guy. Like, he's creepy maybe a little bit, but he's like, we don't have any reason to think, you know, they have no reason to think that he's gonna steal their dog or is recording them or any of that shit. He's just showing up slightly like an opportune time. Here's an example of something. The other day, we have a new neighbor, and our new neighbor the other day, like we told all of our neighbors, hey, we've got a bunch of tomatoes that we harvested. We don't have enough space
fucked
for
up,
them.
Randy.
Come on over. We'll give you some tomatoes. We have too many. And one of our neighbors, our new neighbors, like, oh yeah, I'll come by. And so it's like, all right, come on down whenever. And he didn't knock. He kind of knocked and then walked in. I was like, Becky and I were both like, ooh, this isn't a dorm, dude.
Did he have his finger penis out? He's coming at you all diddly.
But the thing is, like, I don't want to prejudge that as being anything other than a faux pas.
Did
like,
you
I don't
say
want to
anything
assume that
to him?
No, he left, and if it happens again, it's not.
He
gonna happen
came
again,
in and
actually,
took tomatoes out of your house without
no,
you
we
being
were
there.
there.
Oh,
No, we
okay.
were there. No, we were there. That's what was not great about it.
Yeah,
honestly,
well,
because-
yeah.
Just totally
we were
naked.
relaxing, and like there was like a tap
Nasty,
open
nasty.
door, and it's like
Rocking the 69.
I can see in my mind the logic that would lead somebody to do that, but it's not, to my mind, the right thing to do, and I think it's
No.
pretty unnerving. And we have different locks now,
Yeah.
not because of that, but it helps.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know, like, I don't presuppose anybody's done anything untoward. That's the thing, is like, I don't want one mistake to be the defining characteristic of my relationship with a person, unless it continues to be a problem. And so
I think,
for
I
Robin,
think that's just
I feel
how
like I think that's just the difference in our personalities, and that's fine.
it is, and I think that's why I'm kind of like more anxious about this film, because my personality is more to keep a general barrier between people until they earn my trust. You know, I'm going to like keep them at a distance until I'm like, okay, yeah,
Well,
now I
it's
can
not
invite this
distance,
person
that's
into
fine.
my house. But somebody showing up 2-3 times without me inviting them, I would get mad.
I would be upset
I would get
about
mad.
that. Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
would
for sure.
probably do this.
I wouldn't
Like
know that I would be
even
as mad as you.
even going to a house and then him being like, oh no, people aren't here, and then him being like, what Bateman does, I would be like irate. Actually, I would be like, dude, do not
I can imagine
contact
that.
me again. Do not fucking call me again, you weird piece of shit. I probably would say some
Now,
shit like that.
how would your reaction change if you had caused his father to almost murder him?
Now that is the biggest thing, yeah. And that's why I kind of like the dance around this, like, because even, you know, when Robin passes out, you know, she's taking pills, and I like the idea of like, are you paranoid, you know, about this or whatever, and adding that idea of, is she an
Mhm.
unreliable narrator because, you know, she's taking
She's
this thing,
on pills, right?
and even this insistence before the whole I feel scared thing, where she's like, you need to apologize, or you need to do this thing with him, you lied to your friend, or whatever she's doing. I was like, well, you're like stealing from your friend. I like this kind of like idea that they're like, she's not completely, you know, she's hanging out with this woman, she's stealing from her, she's taking her prescription pills. There are a whole bunch of different ones, you know, and she's had this problem before in Chicago, to the point where it seems like in some ways it kind of maybe ruined her business, and in some ways ruined their lives.
know.
They had to move from Chicago, it seems like. We don't have the details.
I
'Cause
took the
maybe of
impression that
her-
they had a problem with fertility, but maybe that was both, or maybe it was just one. I don't know. But I want to
Well,
point
he
this out,
says
though,
when
because
he gives the pills, he says, I thought we put all of this behind us, you know.
Yeah.
We dealt with all this in Chicago, and I'm really sad to see this happening again. So
No, yeah,
Okay.
I know, but that just could point to addiction, like, period. And that's the
Okay.
thing, is like,
Also-
you're pointing to the behavior of an addict,
Mhm.
and them like stealing a few pills from their friends, which is not good and not a good thing to do, and is a self-destructive activity for somebody who is obviously anxious and an addict. But that is not anywhere near the same level as the sins of Jason Bateman, and I don't see them as comparable.
I know, but that position is presented before we know how deep of a piece of shit Bateman is.
Who's to say that she would be stealing these pills if she wasn't feeling so damn stressed out and anxious about the situation that Jason Bateman has created, you know?
But I don't think she steals the pill until like she steals the pills. The scene of her stealing pills happens even like before the dog situation. So I don't know if I necessarily buy that.
But she's an addict. That's the thing, is like,
Yeah.
you can have that flaw.
I saw it
and
as a
have-
true kind of character flaw for her, which I liked.
I mean-
I liked it. People feeling more, not just like, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy. You know?
devolving into like your addictions, that's like a pretty, that is a flaw that's worth considering or whatever. But it's not, to me, it's like, what's brilliant about that is what you just said, is it gives some unreliable narratorness to her a little bit. It
Mhm.
makes you feel like, even as somebody who's watched it again, it makes you understand how she is able to be gaslit by
Mhm.
Jason Bateman, who is just so fucking brilliantly acting this role, to the point where it's like, yeah, he seems totally believable. Like, all this shit, like he lies in, like, he is caught in lies that are huge, and he says them with such confidence. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, there's nothing about him that, when he speaks, it's like what she says, like, if somebody lies to you enough, you just stop believing anything they say. That works perfectly for him, because what he was saying to her was totally believable, except she knew otherwise. Except
Mhm.
she saw the file folders, you
Mhm.
know? Like,
That's some creepy shit. I have the dossier on both of y'all, actually.
Oh, I've had it since day
You don't have the
5 of
storage for that.
when we met.
Oh,
got
Randy's
the- I
done
got
so
the-
much, so much bullshit. His file is like an encyclopedia. It's
I've got
just-
the Dennis Reynolds file on all you guys. This one's Randy, but I'd rather go over Bob first. You can see it's a lot thicker.
anyway,
He's got a lot of deviance, so
I don't know. This is like an interesting. This is an interesting movie overall. It's just kind of like, I really like that it's ambiguous, but it doesn't leave you hanging either. Like, I like some movies to end completely ambiguously. I like others to
Yeah.
end with a little bit of secrecy, and then I like others to be just rock hard facts. And this one is in that lovely gray area
Rock
that
hard.
fits perfectly with the level of realism at play,
Mhm.
because it's one of those things where it's like, real life doesn't always give you every single answer, and that is
Mhm.
what has caused so much of the damage here, and that is what the revenge is. It's just a perfect way to tie it up,
Yeah,
you know. So
This
I
movie
don't know.
brought out a lot of like real uncomfortable but emotions for me. I, like you, hated even like the ending. I was like, wow, that is a pretty powerful ending, but it made me feel disgusting because I hated that Robin, like you said, was used as a pawn between these two people. She has no, she's trying to have a baby. Oh, the greatest days of her life, she has to deal with already separating from her husband just because he's a piece of shit. She doesn't even know the depths of it necessarily.
Yeah.
But now her just being used upon that like made my stomach sink, and I hated that kind of feeling. But also too, when that guy Danny, the scene, so I think I like the more gray ambiguity as if they cut that out. I truly felt like they leaned a little too hard into Patrick Bateman is an absolutely huge piece of shit. See this. I thought that was a little too heavy on the gas, but that scene where Danny does show up and he's like pleading, he's already lost his life and his job because this man, and now he's kind of made a reactionary decision, and now he's really living with the effects of, oh my god, the police are coming, this man has truly absolutely ruined my life completely. That made my stomach sink too, when he was like pleading like, oh no, I was like, oh my god, like you're
What's
just
interesting
living
about
your
that-
life, some guy comes along, completely fucks you not just out of your promotion but out of your job, and you get fucking pissed and like
Mhm.
get mad about it, and then now maybe you're going to jail. You're like, fuck, that made my stomach sink
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
I like that whole plot line in this movie because it just shows various ways that like bullying can show itself, and like it's interesting to think about like this Jason Bateman character being a bully like as a teenager in high school, and then him growing up and sort of like honing.
I called him
Did I call him?
Patrick. I
Oh,
called him.
know.
yeah.
I've been doing that all
I
night.
called him
Jason.
Patrick Bateman. Yeah, you said it
He is a
right.
Patrick Bateman-esque
a
motherfucker.
little bit, yeah.
In this
But,
one, he
like,
definitely is. He has a lot
yeah.
more crossover.
Seeing how a bully can like change how they bully people and like sort of sharpen their skills, and how it presents itself, and like how he bullies his wife, and like how he like bullies his coworkers, and like completely ruins another person's life, showing that he truly has learned nothing from what he's done in his past. Doesn't give a shit, no regard for anybody but himself.
Small counterpoint. I will say this. When he is caught in the lie in front of the guy who definitely holds his career in his hands and his wife who's already suspicious of his lies, he can already see, I think, I have a hard time telling if it's the wheels turning and the how do I get myself out of this bear trap situation, or if it's just maybe a little bit of a lesson learned that he lets the guy go, which is self-incriminating. That is a way that for sure, if you're not going to let him go after doing that shit, unless
you're guilty,
unless you feel guilty about if you know why he's doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So like there's that, and then also that's not what he would have done. That's not what he did for Gordo. Like he did not offer the same grace to Gordo, and look at what happened. And he sees the results of that. So I have a hard time understanding whether or not it's more machinations on his part, more lies, more like, because he doesn't really get another chance to where he can game the system in his favor. At that point, he's in the box, and it's all Gordo's game from that point on.
What's in the box?
Well, and there wasn't,
Bateman.
this did have a bit of a Seven feel to me, that kind of twist at the end. But there was another interesting moment too when she goes to see the friend, and I noticed, or I kind of put this little connection together when she goes to see Greg, I think it is the chiropractor or whatever.
Roy.
Yeah, Roy from The Office. So when she's seeing Roy, he gives, so there's at their previous dinner, Gordo says something like, oh, have you talked to any of the old guys? Have you seen Greg or whatever? He's like, really, I haven't seen anybody since high school. And I kind of believe that. And that's why I was thinking like, oh, maybe he truly doesn't know the extent. He probably does. But even his best friend, Greg, like he's not even keeping in contact. He moved away. He did, he moved on with his life. He was a kid. So trying to give some kind of benefit of the doubt. But, Greg says specifically, I've made peace with Gordo, or he says something like where it makes it seem like you know, he actually engaged with the guy, apologized, or worked through the thing. And then that's also to what kind of led me to believe, again, you know, maybe that's why he knows the finer, deeper details of the situation. You know, maybe he actually reached out to Gordo and stuff. But it was still interesting because Gordo asked him, you know, oh, you know, have you kept in contact with these guys? And then like Bateman says, no, I haven't. And so I was wondering, like, is that Gordo kind of fishing of like, you know, have you talked to Greg who says like, hey, you know, I apologize to Gordo. We fucked up. We really did a bad thing. This is what happened in his life. But Bateman's like, no, I don't keep in contact with that guy.
I think that like you're extrapolating quite a bit. That's not unreasonable, but it's not what I got. Like I didn't take him to have ever just crossed paths with Gordo. I think he was just like, to my mind, him saying like I've made peace with this is me saying I've made peace with my mistakes and I've become a better person. You know, which is not what fucking Jason Bateman had to say on the subject. He thinks that Gordo's a weirdo and there are winners and losers, and Gordo was a loser that lost and is now pissed off at him and exacting revenge because he's a sore loser at life, which is just narcissism. Like, so I don't know. I just didn't see it that way. And like, to me, I could understand where you might come to that conclusion, but it like one way or the other. The thing is, like, based on what Rob pointed out with his sister saying that, and now Roy saying that, like, I have a lot of reason to think that, you know, Jason Bateman may not remember, may not have, maybe oblivious to the extent of how far the wrongdoing took Gordo and how much of his life was ruined before he did that background check anyway. Maybe he's not fully aware, but he knows enough. He knows that he wronged this guy. And when he reads the lines, bygones be bygones, he's like, I don't know what this means. He knows.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm just thinking about, okay, when we were teenagers, okay, there was a guy in Rob's neighborhood that we did some things to, you know, he had a truck and it was a little ridiculous and we did something. Now, if that guy, if I ran to that guy today and that guy was like, oh my God, my life's there, I would have no idea.
Well,
like,
there's a difference between like a little practical joke and fabricating a story about someone being molested.
I understand, but do you understand, like, if some reason that guy came up, oh my God, my dad beat me because of that, I'd be like, what?
But you would make peace with that guy. Yeah,
sure,
I
absolutely would.
You wouldn't know
like,
that.
I would have no idea.
But here's the thing. Is knowing about it.
A little bit of poop on the hood of my car and beat the shit out of me.
No.
Why?
Well, here's the other thing, though. Like, does it matter? Does it really matter if he knows the extent of what happened?
Yeah.
What happened, and it happened because of him, and it happened because of his, not just because of what he did, but what he continued to do. He didn't stop lying. He just wandered away and let the lie live. So, like, whether or not he's aware of the extent of his wrongdoing, that's a philosophical question that I'm asking. Does it matter? Is he just as culpable? Is he just as, as deserving as he would have been otherwise? I don't know. Like, and I don't think that I'm not saying that he's necessarily deserving of what happened to him. Don't get me wrong. But like from Gordo's point of view, is like if he doesn't know, is that worse? Maybe because he's so nothing to you as a bully in high school that all you remember is that there's a guy you called weirdo, and then it took a background check for him to even know what he did to you.
Well, I kind of like I think this movie's well written because I like the choice that they made in what he did to Gordo, because it's one of those situations, you know, if you said something like, I stole something and I said somebody else stole something. Okay, well then there's reformation, or like, no, then there's like, you could like give it back, you know, like then but okay, in this situation, he makes up a story about somebody, okay, and people bully him at school and he's like taking out of school, and then, but like, okay, even if you, at that point, once things have happened, even before his dad tries to hurt him, even if you said, okay, I made the whole story up, okay, there's not really anything that can be done about it anymore, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you can't undo it, but you can stop further you can stop the lie from making
Yeah.
further problems for people.
Yeah,
And that's
but
the thing is like
just not like that clear cut thing where like,
It is not
okay,
a
we
clear-cut
can
thing.
go back, or like it's gonna be erased, or people are gonna feel differently about you. People are treating him that way because they're saying like, oh, you're gay or whatever, and they're bullying him and they're abusing him. But even if you told the truth, some people are still going to take that, like, people aren't just going to automatically change their perception of you
no.
in their
But that's not on
mind.
you anymore. You can't control what other people think.
True.
At least
True.
not without, like, you can, but it takes an act of willfulness to undo the
Yeah.
damage in people's minds, to at least give that lifeline
I
to
just
Gordo,
yeah.
and him being like, look, my friend, like, he made it up. Look, he'll tell you.
I just like the choice that they made because it's not so easy to erase. So, for instance, in
It's
the
not, yeah.
Danny type of situation, if Bateman came out and said, I made all of this up, well, then Danny might actually get his job back and get a promotion.
Yeah,
that is
maybe.
actually able to undo the damage that you've done.
But that
with
only is true
Gordo,
because he could do it. That's only true if he doesn't let the lie linger for a long
for a
like,
long
if it's a year
time.
on, his life's
Sure.
already ruined. You can't
Sure.
undo that. Like,
Yeah.
you certainly can't undo that.
Sure.
There's only a little bit of window of time for some
That's
mistakes
true.
or some acts of aggression to be
Yeah.
undone, and some things you just can never take back, period. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what this movie is it's like, what, you can't take it back. All you can do is patch up the hole, and if you refuse to patch up the hole, maybe the hole eventually swallows you the fuck up.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, it is time to land the plane. I think we've covered really just about everything there is to in this movie. If there's anything you want to add, of course, feel free to do so as we wrap up. Juice, why don't you kick us off? Out of 5, how do you feel about The Gift?
Yeah, this one's a little tricky because I think it's really well crafted. I think the acting is done really well. One thing I want to point out, this was wild to me that the character's name was Robin. Something about her face really reminds me of Robin from Stranger Things. She's got like a similar kind of face and like teeth and mouth. I don't know. Something about her
Got the
looks
same mouth.
similar. I don't know. And so her name was also Robin. I was like, are they related? But I think the acting is really good. I think they do a good job of kind of keeping you guessing. I liked the more ambiguous I kind of feel of the first half, where you're like, where there's a lot of questions around everyone. Did Gordo really take the dog? You actually don't really know. Is he an actual creeper or not? Should you feel bad for him or not? Is all of this because she's taking these pills? Is she paranoid? Is Bateman actually a huge piece of shit, or is he just kind of like too intense, and not very caring, forgiving type of person? I like the more gray kind of areas, and when they leaned more into to the winners and losers, I was like, I get why they need to do that to bring out this character, but I like the more artful like dance between the characters and those feelings. This movie kind of made me like anxious and sick to my stomach in some ways. Like that ending scene where it's like, did she get raped and not know her baby's father? That's terrible. Like that's some real life terrible shit. That's hard to just be like, yeah, I enjoyed this, because it's like it's good in evoking those emotions, but it's not enjoyable to me, and this plays in some of my like real life anxiety fears, like people just showing up at your house, wanting people to not be there, and them just kind of forcing their will upon you. That like really made me anxious. I don't like that kind of shit.
One day I'll have to listen to your review of Mother.
Mother. Oh man, that movie. Ooh. So yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I don't have a lot of negatives about this, except for the fact that like of my will, I just kind of wish they didn't lean so hard into Bateman being like an absolute huge piece of shit so that his actions are justified when somebody uses another woman like I don't like that feeling of like, yeah, you're getting your just desserts, but it's at the expense of somebody else. Like, made me feel really uncomfortable, but that's effective. So I mean, I don't know what to do with that. I guess I'll give it, I respect a lot about this film. I'll give it a 4 out of 5, but it makes me really uncomfortable. It makes me really uncomfortable, but that's, I mean, good, but I just don't really want to watch it again, I guess, anyways, Bob, how do you feel about The Gift? Not 2000 Gift, 2015.
2015 Gift. Featuring the Thingpeen from Jason Bateman.
Cannot get over
You,
that.
man,
Really can't. I have a singular focus, and it's that man's digit.
go watch
I like
Pineapple
this movie.
Express and get it out of your system.
I like this movie quite a bit. It's extremely uncomfortable to watch, and I think these actors absolutely kill it. There's the first time Gordo has dinner over at their house, that he has like maybe one glass of wine too many, and he freaking kills it. Edgerton in that scene, he's just like, that's where he drops the like eye for an eye line, and you kind of get the vibe that maybe he's got some like PTSD or something. Like, you're not quite sure what his deal is yet, but he was in the military and stuff. And that whole like dinner sequence is just like so fucking uncomfortable to watch and so effective. All three of these main players here are killing it, though. Bateman is knocking it out of the park. He's such a creeper, but like keeps it on the DL for the first maybe a half of the movie or so. And then after he like does the half-ass apology and then goes home and he's like hugging Robin and she's asking how it went, and he hesitates for a moment and says like, he was just so thankful. And it like, oh my God, the cringe in that moment is just unbelievable. The ending is obviously effective in what it's doing. It's full on nightmare mode for Robin's character, but I mean, I don't know. It's an effective ending. It's very haunting. It's very memorable. And there's nothing like too bombastic really happening. It's just these three players like really, really like honing their crafts and showing up. I don't have really hardly any negatives that come to mind. It definitely doesn't like sit as a 5 for me, so I'm gonna come in with a 4.5 on The Gift. Randu, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about this movie. This is one of those movies where I'm like I said, I give it a lot of like space between viewings, because it just doesn't really demand an immediate reviewing to me. And whenever I do, I'm just like, damn, I forgot how fucking good this fucking movie is. Like, there's so much to it. There's, like Justin said, like there's not a ton that I can point to and say like that's a flaw, that is a problem. Even the things that like Justin found to be, a problem for him, I don't agree with a lot of it. Like, to me, it's just as a matter of personal opinion. I don't really like, I don't see some of those things the same way. But I watching it this time, I was just struck with that again. I really feel like Bateman just takes out all the stops. To me, it's like he is the parable of the movie, but it leaves an unsavory taste in your mouth, to Justin's point, knowing that in order for him to get his just desserts, it had to destroy this innocent person whose only sin was just being an addict, a recovering addict, and being on edge because her dog was stolen and a bunch of fish were killed and you caused it. Like, I don't know. There's no, like I was saying earlier, there's one, if there's a hero in this movie, it's Robin. And I don't think that there's really any two ways about it. I don't think Gordo is anything close to a hero. I think that where he's coming from is more sympathetic, but where they both live is in this horrible valley. And so like, to me, at least on this viewing, I didn't really see that wide of a gap between him and Bateman. And I don't see the movie as necessarily railing on Bateman harder. It's really just more of like one person has constructed his life around these lies, and the lies come tumbling down. There's some Schadenfreude to that. And it's like, it's well deserved, but it's not deserved to her. And that's what's really stings about the whole thing, is people being used as collateral against each other. The people you care about being used as collateral against you because of something you did in the past. Whether or not you're a piece of shit doesn't matter. That is an effective, horrible thing to watch happen, and it makes it so much worse that you're not the only one that it's happening to. So yeah, I like, it's not a feel good movie, but I will enjoy every second of it, really, because it's so fucking effective. Everybody's on their A game, like Rob said. Like the pacing of this movie is really great, I think. Like, I'm down for a slow burn, and this movie isn't crazy long. It just it just lingers on the beats. It allows the actors to live in the beats, and I think that has a lot to do with how good the performances are, is because they're allowed to live in the moment for any number of minutes. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of negatives about this. I had one in mind, but I can't think of what it was now. But I had determined already that I'm going to go with a 4.5 on this one. It's not quite a perfect movie. There was something in there that I was going to bring up, and I just can't think of it. But
there was one thing I want to point out, but didn't, is that this dude takes a lot of risks that could easily get him locked up by the police.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
breaking
Yeah,
into
that's
people's
part of it.
houses or like doing that with the
They
people's house,
needed
they
a
could have
security
easily
system.
pressed charges, and then
You
the
know-
story would be done.
You know, that man,
Or installed a security system.
Gordo, one of the many gifts that he gave them was a burned copy of Apocalypse Now. I mean, take that to
Oh,
the authorities
shit.
and lock that man up. That is
Or even just,
egregious.
yeah,
Simply evil.
if Bateman just takes that DVD to the police, this
I
man's
know, a
been in
bootlegger.
jail before. He's
Yeah.
going to get
Yeah.
like, he's not going to get a lot of sympathy from the police. Like, you know, he
Evil.
broke into somebody else's house recently.
Well,
you
the
know,
thing is, at
he's
the end of this movie, this is what I
groping
was
your
actually-
wife and showing that he drugged her with their Gatorade.
Exactly. That's what I was. That's actually what I was gonna bring up, which is like, this is a pretty hard house of cards for him to keep up at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Because all Jason Bateman
yeah.
has to do is like, you can hate me, you can never see me again after this if you
Yeah.
want, but watch this DVD that your friend Gordo left at
Yeah.
our fucking house of him molesting you,
Yeah.
and tell me that tell me
I'm
that
not
I'm the
right.
biggest piece of
Yeah.
shit in the room. Then tell me that, which
Yeah,
she
dude,
might still, but
That fucking
yeah.
monkey mask is not chill. Not a
No.
fan. Not a fan.
I had-
Also,
I'd
too, when he
forgotten that he
bites
was
them
terrified of monkeys.
over to the house, there's monkeys everywhere. I don't know if y'all
Yeah.
noticed that.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
They're like all over the table. They're
Yeah.
like these ceramic monkeys and shit. And I was like, oh,
I like
fuck.
that.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
So
Which
I don't
is
know.
weird
That's
though,
a
because it's
4.5.
not his house. But
Yeah, I
I
guess he
think
just
maybe
bought
he
a
set
bunch
him
of
up, I
monkey
don't know.
shit. Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
he set up
Or maybe,
monkey
I don't know.
shit.
Who knows? But it, like, all of it works out. He knows that gets under his skin, so it's
Yeah.
gotta be.
Goro, there's monkey shit all over the walls. What's going on?
There's
With-
just monkey
smells
shit
terrible.
everywhere.
It smells
Wow.
absolutely terrible.
I can tell it's monkey shit. My nose is tuned into that. You know,
I got a keen nose.
You got monkey shit in here?
My nose is like a shit sommelier. I know exactly what I'm smelling.
Damn.
Sub-Saharan.
Oh, this monkey's well fed. Oh my. With
With too much
Randy's
banana in the diet.
Randy's 4.5 is going to put our aggregate at a 4.3. We do have an email from our boy Alex. He sent in his thoughts and his own rating on The Gift. Let's go ahead and see what he's got to say.
All right. Good evening, boys. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to review this brilliant film. Right off the bat, I'm going to say that this is a 4.5-star movie for me. The only reason why it's not a 5 is because the rewatch factor is not really there. Maybe every handful of years, but it's not something you could just put on for the fun of it. But other than that, I have no other qualms with this film. The cast is top-notch, the writing and dialogue is cohesive and make for a very engaging watch. Being the directorial debut for Joel Edgerton is bananas. Plus, he steals every scene he's in. Oh, I didn't realize. So the director
He's
is
Gordo. He plays
Gordo?
Gordo.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
wow. Okay.
And he wrote it too, didn't he?
Yeah, he wrote it. Yeah, he's all
Okay,
over it.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Has he done anything else? Sorry to
He
stop
did
in the
one other
middle.
thing. I'll look it up while you're reading.
Okay. Wow. Okay. He comes off naive and innocent, but deep down, you know, something is hiding underneath. But I've got to give it up for old Patrick Bateman. That's Jason Bateman. With his dramatic roles lately, with him in Ozark and the little bit he was in The Outsider. I haven't seen either of those. Have you guys? Ozark or The
Yeah.
Outsider?
Ozark, I've
Yeah.
seen like maybe 2 seasons of, and he's pretty good in that. I think that came out around the same time as this movie, the first season,
Okay.
and it's definitely in the same vein where he's like, he's definitely he's no Bluth in that movie.
Okay. Sorry, I keep stopping. You're bringing up a lot of good things here, Alex. I honestly prefer him as a dramatic actor, and in this movie, he really nails it. Of course, we can't forget about Rebecca Hall and the love that she has for taking roles where she's married to a man with batshit crazy secrets. The story is bonkers, and I divert your expectations on if Gordon is the bad guy or really a simply innocent dude. The ending of this movie will never fail to leave my jaw hanging, but also being like, fuck yeah, when Simon gets what's coming to him. When Rise of the Valkyries plays over the CDs, given I can't help but have a grin on my face. Moral of the story, don't be a dick.
Yep.
Or a
That's a
man
fair
named
moral.
Gordo will kill your fish, steal your wife, and maybe or maybe not be the actual father of your child. Personally, I don't think he did it though. It
Hell
was
of a prank.
yeah, you got me, brah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Prank, bro. Up top.
Just come on, brah. Come on.
Come
Just,
on,
you're
man. You gotta
taking
give
this
it to
too
me.
serious.
You gotta give it to me.
I got you, brah. You should see the look on your face. It was just another psychological pin he put into Simon's mind to mess with him. Thank you guys again for reviewing this film, and hope my thoughts are on the same plane as you guys. Oh God, pleasey wheezy, keep your PPs in your pants. Hashtag hard with soju.
Oh man. He's pleasey wheezy.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he did it. He did your favorite, Bob.
Ooh,
6 to
Ooh,
midnight
my
for Bob.
favorite.
Gave you what you need, Bob.
I need it. I need it.
To answer that earlier question, directorially, he's only directed one other feature-length film, which was in 2018, and he also wrote it or adapted it from a novel or something. It's called Boy Erased, and it's about Christian
I feel like I've
K
heard of that.
conversion camps. Just Becky had seen it, and apparently it's great.
Oh.
I have not heard of it before. He's written a few other things and done some shorts as a director, but other than that, he's mostly
for
an actor.
him.
Yeah.
Also, too, that would be weird to write this crazy
He's in the
movie
Green Knight.
and have this like really piece of shit character, and then direct it and be like, I'm gonna be that character. I'm gonna be
I mean,
this huge piece.
May I
of
introduce
shit.
you to Joaquin Phoenix?
Well, yeah.
Well, he didn't write? Did he have a
didn't
hand in that?
write. I don't think.
I thought for
so.
some reason he did. Okay,
I don't
bad
think
call.
so.
Call back then. Anyway, it's. I mean, playing a villain is fun. I wouldn't hold it against anybody.
I do it every day of my life.
Yeah, I know you do. I play a good guy. I act like a good guy all day.
I'm
That's what I-
good,
that's
my
okay?
I'm good
Except that
guy.
I'm so good, okay?
Believe
No.
me. You must believe me.
Just don't understand how good I am.
Never will.
Alright.
You just have to keep telling us. That's the only way we're going to get it. Gentlemen, it's time for our Rotten Tomatoes segment. Let's see what the critics and users think about The Gift.
All right, ladies and germs, this is the segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess, to the best of their abilities, what the aggregate positive score is on RottenTomatoes.com for The Gift, and that is both critics and users. Starting, of course, as we usually do, with the critics. I'm going to go over to Juice today to start. Juice, what percentage of the 197 reviews do you think were positive?
Well,
this
I'm just gonna say Bob's addiction is starting to negatively affect the show because it's kind of his box has ruined this game.
Yeah.
You
I
love
have-
my box.
I have to know that it's
Still, one of you will be
certified-
further from the answer than the other. So
I
we
know
can
that it's
still play.
certified. I actually don't know what the certified threshold is.
I'm not 100% either, but I'm not gonna.
So,
make
but
a
I
guess
gotta
for a
go.
second.
Fools.
I gotta go high. Ours was what 4.3.
Yeah.
Ooh, the 90s. Is it gonna be as high as the 90s? I don't know.
It's the 90s.
I'll take it at 90.
90. Okay, Bob, how about you?
Ooh, yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty high. 90. Will it be higher than a 90?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
You think that was a quick yeah?
I think so. I think so. I
Pull the trigger, Bob.
I'll go. I'm gonna do the $1 with a 91. 91, man.
$1
91.
Bob. Classic Bob over here.
All right. Well, there's something that I like to refer to as a ringy dingy at play here. Somebody got this right on the button, and that somebody is our boy, Bob. Bob, congratulations. You
Oh,
won
$1,
the
Bob.
Bob over here, just getting a ringy dingy.
Rigatoni.
Let me get that rigatoni.
You got yourself a rigatoni, my boy. Enjoy
Yes.
it. Throw some red sauce on that, man.
Love
motherfucker.
it. Let me get that Sunday gravy, son. Yes.
Ooh.
It's
So
not
we have-
Tuesday gravy. I know that.
Let's go
It's a
over
couple days
to
old.
the audience score. There's 50,000 plus ratings for the audience
Damn.
score, a significantly larger margin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Bob this time. Where do you think those 50,000 plus ratings put this thing on the scale?
I love a larger margin. Let's see. Let's see what we got.
I know you
it's-
do.
I think it's got to be lower because this movie is like so unpleasant. I don't think everybody's just going to be raving about it. I'll go with it's still going to be kind of high though. I'll go with like an 80. My boys, Project 86. Let's do it.
Oh, you taking my
86.
boys?
I'm
taking
taking
my
your
boys.
boys.
I'm
Taking
taking
'em.
your boys.
Not my boys. I think it's gonna be positive as well, but probably a little lower than that. And I'm gonna give a little bit more of a gap. I like a little bit wider gap, so I'm gonna put it at
Yeah, you do.
82.
82.
Yeah, you do.
Ooh, that's a gap. All right.
That's
Well,
a
Oh
gap. That's
my
a gap.
God.
That's a gap right there.
oh yeah, that's a
We-
gap.
We're
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
going too far.
Oh, that's the line
You
that
guys
you
are
draw.
going crazy.
How dare you!
All
Oh,
right.
God.
So 82 for Juice, 86 for Bob. Juice, you're going to take it away this time. It's a 75. so lower.
whoa, that's
Lower
the-
end.
Really? Give me that gap.
All right.
God damn.
Here's what the critics' consensus reads. The gift is wickedly smart and playfully subversive, challenging the audience's expectations while leaving them leaning on the edges of their seats. I think that's pretty fair. I'm not sure you guys heard a word I just said, but
No, all I can think about was this fucked up story that Justin told us many years ago when he worked at a jewelry store about this guy who
Who
found
are
a
you
gap.
calling a cootie queen, you lint liquor?
Give me
Here's
that
a real
gap.
The wrong gap.
He was
It's not the gap
the
you're
crack.
looking
I thought it was
for.
the crack.
the crack in the leg. He was in the wrong
Crack.
space. He was going to town,
This
but
is-
he was in the wrong area.
Man.
Wicked lies with Tim.
What the fuck?
What
Just
a
broke out
wild
into song.
man. Now that
Oh.
I'm just in my older age, that story seems more and more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. You fucked up. or
Damn. All
what?
right. Well, let's read a negative review and see how. Are we going to make it.
Take it, Randy. Take it, Randy.
Let's read a negative review just to see if there's any humor to be derived thereof. It concludes with one of the most repugnant turns this side of a 60s era exploitation roughie, quote unquote. A quote unquote twist so vile it pretty much cancels out the considerable skill and accomplishment of what's preceded it. You know a movie's good when its biggest critics can't help but compliment it in
Yeah.
their argument.
Yeah.
You know a movie's got
Ruffy,
something
is
going
that-
for it.
I've never
I've
heard
never
that
it in my life.
term.
Maybe
Okay.
it's
That's new to me.
originalism outside of the
Okay,
States or
yeah.
something.
I got myself a Ruffy here.
Oh, it's a real roughy.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to see how you could come to that conclusion, and I didn't. To me, it just fucking works. Like,
Where I'm
it's
from,
horrible.
we call
but-
them roughies.
Oh my god!
Oh my!
Oh my!
God.
My
my
Randy's
God.
clutching those
That-
pearls.
That's a bump right there. Oh my
God.
God!
It is a gift.
All right, that's the end of Rotten Tomatoes segment.
That's it. That's it. Let's talk some trivia.
All right.
It's totally time for trivia.
Oh there, boys, some trivia. Oh, Joel Edgerton, as we already mentioned, he plays Gordo in this movie. He wanted to focus on his directing, though. So he filmed his own scenes as Gordo after 2 weeks of shooting had already been completed. And he knocked out all of his scenes in 7 days.
Damn.
Good for him. Yeah.
That's pretty fucking quick.
Killed it. The first title of this movie was going to be Weirdo, but the execs said nah, which I think is a good call.
I think it's a better title. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
a
that's
movie
a good
that's like
call.
this. I mean, that could have been fine. It would have been fine, but I think this one, like, it just speaks to the realism of the movie. It's a very
Yeah,
grounded movie.
Yeah.
for sure. The Gordo was asking some questions when he was hosting trivia. I'd go to Gordo's trivia. He was
Not with
The
your
first a-
girlfriend, I hope.
no, I'd go with my boy Randu.
Hmm.
The first answer to his question was the Beatles' White Album, and the follow-up answer was Helter Skelter.
Yep.
I guess I didn't know this, so this was kind of interesting. In British English, a Helter Skelter apparently is a fairground slide that twists around the outside of a central tower. Did you know that?
I didn't know that either.
Oh,
Huh?
she's a fancy flapjack.
Brit's got some weird words.
Britain,
Yeah.
get your words together, you
Helter
cooters.
Skelter. Huh. No, I did not know that.
Apparently
I
so.
didn't know that. No.
What else we got? So yeah, there are 2 Bible verses he left on Simon's car. There is Psalm 7:15, which is, he made a pit and digged it and has fallen into the ditch which he made. And the other is Luke 3:9, which is, and now also the axe is laid unto the root of the trees. Every tree, therefore, which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Ooh.
It was a marriage to the beast.
Also,
What
if he
else?
didn't rape her, his whole plan of like vengeance is tied to the idea of, I hope she gets pregnant. Like,
Well, he knew they were trying. I mean,
yeah, you
True.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying though? Like,
I don't know. There's a lot of weak
little
points to the plan
loose. It's a
overall.
little
Like,
loose.
If she decided to get a paternity test, I
Yeah.
mean,
It would
like,
immediately tell,
Right,
like,
yeah.
you could get it done at the hospital, I think, right then and there, and
Get
you
her
would-
done.
you would
when we were
know.
watching, I was like, I was turning to Becky and I was like, "Uh-oh, whose baby is it?" And she goes, "The baby's gonna be black."
Becky would.
That's dark, man. It's like there's another dude in the mix. Jesus Christ,
Dude, that would be a fucking twist for
That
sure.
would be a twist.
Robin's got a little strange on the side.
Robin's just like,
This-
"Yeah, you guys both suck. I'm gonna go with this guy."
His inspirations for the screenplay included Alfred Hitchcock's Fatal Attraction and Michael Haneke's 2005 French film Cachet, as well as Park Chan-wook's Vengeance trilogy. The trailer for this movie was first released on April 1st, 2015. It premiered on Twitter's live video streaming app, which I don't think exists anymore. Periscope. Do you guys fucking remember Periscope?
No, that went down in flames.
Yeah. It was the first major advertiser to work with Twitter on Periscope. This was shot with a budget of $5 million. It grossed $60 million worldwide. Blumhouse killing it again. Also, this is the last bit I have here. The fear of monkeys is known as pithecophobia. Pithecophobia, I think. So, for all you monkey
That's a
haters
terrible
out
name.
there. Yeah,
You monkey haters.
it's not great. That's all I got
Dude,
for trivia.
I saw a bunch of wild monkeys in Vietnam, and it kind of freaked me out because there was probably like 50 of them, and I was like, these things could
Damn.
like kill me really easily. So I moseyed on along pretty quick.
Now you know what it's like to be a feudal lord.
It was weird. I was like, oh damn. I mean, I'm not scared of monkeys by any means. I like to see them when they're
Apparently you are.
when they're safely
Fucking
away. But
ran away.
when I'm chilling, there's like 50
Mhm.
around. I'm like, I'm gonna scotch.
You pathicophobe.
Go along.
Scotch along. Boys, let's talk Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'.
Cooter of the
Tell me that coot scoot boogie.
Oh, you
Where
want me
are
to
they?
bug it, huh? Oh, Cooter's a character type. Stretch on exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter. We want the Cooter with most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviancy, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall pathetic. I just don't know if we're gonna be able to catch ourselves a Cooter this week, boys.
It's a Cooter-free movie. Roll credits. We're done.
Everyone's pretty, cut
Squeaky clean,
yeah.
sound of
On the
music.
level.
Fucking
Yeah,
shit going on.
yeah.
Fucking shit.
All right,
going
boys.
on.
I think this is gonna be
Speak
pretty
English,
easy.
Doc. We ain't scientists.
Either way we go, you guys
Mm.
want to start with old Bait Mang?
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What is this
let's start.
character's
Smug.
name?
It doesn't matter.
Simon. Simon says.
Simon
Stick to the
says.
challenge, Simon. So sexual deviancy, I don't see a lot of evidence of that.
No,
he seems
I
to be
don't think
faithful to the
so.
wife.
He does, yeah. That's another thing they could have like thrown in there to make him a real
Mhm.
huge piece of shit. But yeah, he seems.
Oh well, I guess you could argue. I don't think this really speaks to his sexuality, though. Is the whole thing about the original sin of casting
Yeah.
Gordo as a gay boy so he can make fun of him.
Yeah,
I think that's.
but that's. The
I don't
thing,
think that
like,
really qualifies towards his sexual deviancy.
Right.
He's
It's
just
yeah,
That's
it's
about
weird
power.
too because the story
Yeah.
wasn't that he's
Which
gay; it's that he
Higgins is-
was being molested.
well,
That's
it's
the thing.
both.
It put
by an
him.
older boy.
Yeah, it put him in a position to
Yeah.
better himself by saying, like, I saved someone from molestation, and through that, people were saying he was gay.
Mhm.
So he didn't
Well,
just say like Gordo's gay.
No,
Mhm.
I don't think the sexual
Yeah.
deviance is gonna
I don't-
apply here.
Because I
But,
don't
I
think
mean-
he gets sexual gratification from it, and I think that's
No,
the key.
yeah.
No, it's manipulation for sure.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Off
yeah,
the
manipulation.
charts.
Yeah, this is a pretty good
Manipulation,
manipulator.
yeah. Whoa.
Dude,
yeah,
for
the
sure.
Danny thing, man, that's fucked.
Smug
Smug
arrogance.
is
Holy
shit through
shit.
the roof.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Man,
Those are
even
top
if you didn't get
points.
the promotion, you still got a great job. Like, just
Yeah.
chill.
How do you think he got that though? That's the thing. Is like you gotta think
Well,
like
Yeah.
a guy like this has been doing. That's the thing that whole subplot
rewards
adds to
him.
this is like this. He's
Yeah.
gotten all these beautiful things in life. How much of that is
Because-
attributable to him being willing to destroy people's lives on the way
That's
up?
true.
And that question should be asked of every CEO in the country and the
Yeah.
world.
It's
Anyway.
rewarded them in their lives, so they continue to do it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Look and attire. Everybody's pretty normally dressed in this movie. The only
Yeah,
weird
except
thing
for the
is the
monkey
mask,
mask.
which is not him. So
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
we'll get to that. But
Pathetic.
patheticness.
He's pathetic.
He's
Yeah.
pathetic. He's pathetic, but like he's kind of like low key pathetic. He would never see himself as pathetic until the end of
No.
the movie. The whole ethos of like everybody's a winner or a
I was
loser,
gonna
and
say
if you're
that
a loser,
too,
like that
yeah.
whole thing is like that's the mythology that somebody ascribes to justify the most selfish and craven behavior possible,
Yeah.
and it's like loathsome and disgusting
Yeah.
and pathetic. Yes, I think that's where his patheticness really is. But he would never describe himself that way until he was
No.
balled up on the floor of a hospital at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole movie is him having to reckon with the idea that now he's the loser. Oops.
He's a
It
jabroni.
turns out
I'm
that
glad
being a
we're-
loser is
It is a gift.
I'm glad we're all winners, boys. I don't know if I could do this podcast. With a bunch
All
of
I
Really bad
do
day in
is
my life.
win, no matter what.
what's on your mind, Bob.
all my friends are winners. That's by design.
Mhm.
So.
Everything's coming up, Bob. It always has, and it always will. Okay. Gordo also is through the roof.
Yeah.
Cooter here.
So
I
his
mean, he's-
patheticness is a lot more on the sleeve.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he lies about. I mean, now this is part of his manipulation. So this is a weird thing because we don't actually know a whole lot. I guess he's never was. The whole story about his wife and the kids is made up, right?
Yeah, I
We
think
don't
so.
really know.
Yeah.
But like it stands to reason.
I think
maybe.
so.
I honestly, the fact that he had that recording of them talking makes me think that he left
yeah,
explicitly
do
to
that.
elicit
To
their
do
true
that.
reaction and
Yeah.
get
I thought
recordings
so
of them.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so
Which would
too.
mean that he wasn't talking to an ex-wife or job
No,
or anything.
I
else.
mean-
Making
He
shit
was just
up.
gone.
Yeah.
And obviously, he had to talk about the kids because if he was recording them, maybe he was listening to them and knew that they went upstairs because they say like, "Oh, he's got kids,"
Yeah,
because
right,
they
yeah.
open the kid's bedroom. So,
But
yeah,
then again, he might have there's no definitive proof on that. And
yeah,
I could see it. I don't think it changes the game much if it was true.
yeah. I mean, he's
But-
hosting trivia, so I mean, can we give? No, I'm just-
Yeah, he's
There's
never had
nothing.
sex.
Nothing. Oh my god. Pathetic as fuck. Manipulation as fuck. Sexual deviance as fuck.
yeah,
His
He's
entire
not smug.
we could give him
No,
looking attire for
that's
the
true.
monkey mask, right?
The
though?
monkey mask. Yeah.
Looking at Tyler,
Yeah,
I'd give
yeah.
it's a low level thing because it's like
It's part of the
it's
manipulation.
A, pragmatic, and B, it's part of the manipulation. Yeah, he wouldn't be wearing
Yeah.
a monkey mask. He would just be
So I
wearing
guess-
a balaclava or some shit.
yeah,
I guess Gordo is slightly more cootery than Bait Bang, but they're both certified cooter
Yeah.
material.
Yeah,
Lock
I
'em
think
up.
they
Lock 'em
I think they
up.
share a bunk personally.
Yeah.
Mm.
They can finger bang all they want together.
Sure.
All right.
Bob. And Bob, we're gonna have to confiscate your fingers, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Um
I don't
let's
think there's anybody else to talk to.
no, I don't think so
Talk
either.
about, I mean.
I don't think Robin would hit it, and those are really the characters here to speak of.
Mhm.
Let's
Except for
gentlemen,
Roy.
let's glaze on over what we've been watching this week. We're running a little bit late. We
Bob,
do
I have so much to talk about.
we'll get to it next week.
Hey, here's the bump.
Next week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
There you go.
Hey, Randy, what you been watching? No, just
Bob, what are you done?
Yeah, we're not doing it though. Let's I was gonna say we got a bunch of voicemails, so let's go ahead and jump into our hotline screams.
Hotline scream.
Making me press two buttons. Jesus Christ, fucking hell.
I didn't make you do anything.
Damn,
If
you do it yourself,
you guys
Randy. You're
are
just a loser.
listening-
Okay.
Oh shit.
If you guys
Where's
are
my
listening, want to
monkey?
call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got 4 voicemails. We're going to hear from 4 listeners this week. First up, Hydraberg. Let's hear what he has to say.
What up, boys? It's your boy, Hydraberg. I'm just calling in. I'm listening to the Requiem for a Dream cast, and Justin's talking about how this is the first time he's ever heard of ass to ass in this film. And I'm reminded of my stepbrother's bachelor party from the late 90s, before the film actually came out. There were two strippers there in one of his friends' houses. The living room area was like cleared out for like drinks and games, and then the bachelor party itself, you know, the strippers showed up and they did a little thing, and they made fun of, you know, they made my stepbrother do stuff, and you know, it's fun. You know, if you've ever been to one, you know what to expect. But then the two of them also did pull out a double ding dong and had it in both of them on their backs. And then one of the most talented things I've ever seen in my life was they both switched positions, ass to ass, and the thing stayed in. It never came out. I was like 17, 18 at the time. I'd never seen anything like that. So, and it molded me into the man I am today. So I just wanted to say that was the first time I've ever actually seen ass to ass. We did not shout that term at them though, and they were compensated. And I do not think they were on any speed, methamphetamines, or heroin at the time. Who knows though? But I just wanted to call in with that quick story. It's been a while since I called in. Thanks for showing love to A Cut Above, you guys and your community. And I'm looking forward to the next episode, guys. Keep chilling.
We're going to get erected. Also, too, I would like to clarify that the first time I watched this,
first time
I watched this was when obviously I'd seen this movie before, so I just wanted to.
Hell of a story.
Yeah.
There's
Heidelberg's always bringing some wild,
dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe we're the weirdos. I don't know, but like, and I don't want to speak for you guys, but for me, and I think that you guys too, like, there's nothing in this world more uncomfortable to me than being in a strip club and having that shit happen around you. It's too much for me, man. I don't like. It makes me feel very uncomfortable.
I don't like to pay for my yabos. Okay, that's just I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, I've never been to a bachelor party that had like strippers in
me neither.
situations like that.
Yeah,
all our bachelor parties are like chill, absolute dork fests.
Yeah,
going to medieval times and shit. Yeah.
Get the juice now.
Yeah, that sounds wild, dude.
That does sound
like
wild
that in my life. Yeah. That's
I mean, I've seen things like it, but
I mean,
we all have the internet, people. We all have the internet.
I mean, not unlike my brother-in-law's floor or what, you know.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I've never got the spray of the ocean on your face, huh, Bob?
Damn.
You put your ear to it, you can smell the ocean.
Man, between Heidelberg and G-Baby, man, we got some wild stories.
And everybody that listens to our show is really horny. That's wild.
Including us, apparently.
Buddy, you've been talking about finger banging more than this movie. So let's move on before we say some more.
What you're talking about. That's some bullshit.
What's voicemail 2, Bob?
Number 2, we're hearing from Caitlin. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hello, gentlemen. This is your friend Caitlin from Plug It Up. I wanted to tell you that this week I've been tapped to take care of my friend's diabetic cat with asthma.
Oh,
his name is Randy, short for Macho Man Randy Savage. But
yeah,
because I've been listening to your back catalog pretty much nonstop lately, I've been calling him Randu. Today I'm going to go see Randu the cat and give him his insulin shots, and I'm very nervous to do so. But so person Randu, send your well wishes to Kitty Randu. I'm going to do my best. Also, your back to school poll picks inspired me to cover Raw on my show, so now it's a battle. Just kidding. But Raw is amazing. Love you guys. Hope to have you back on soon. Bye.
Randu.
She's on with my picks. Yeah, good call.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Raw is a banger.
Good. Congrats to your asthmatic. I forget the other ailments that that cat has. But congrats to your diabetic asthmatic cat that you're caring for.
Man, that's another
Give it my
thing.
congratulations for its name choice.
That's like another kind of personal anxiety flaw of mine is I can't take care of anybody else's pet because I'm so scared that they'll die in my care, and I just can't live with that guilt.
Jesus Christ.
I like,
hey, you need a pet sitter?
Get the
Don't
juice now.
call me, dude. Don't call me.
Get
Rob's mom
the
has asked me a
juice.
couple times, and as much as I love her and his family, I can't accept the responsibility. I can't do it, especially too because she's got like a manual for taking care of them.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's
there's
a
a
lot.
logistical
It's a
problem for
lot.
taking care of those
But
guys.
that's not the problem I have. It's like I could not live with like the guilt of hurting somebody else's dog or actually, oh, I gotta give this dog
know
an
what
death is.
insulin shot. Holy fuck, I'd
Yeah,
be
that's next
freaking
level
out, dude. Oh my god.
You're a great friend, Caitlin. Goddamn.
Yeah, you're
To
doing
do that.
doing
That's
some work,
stressful.
man.
Yeah, for real. Raw is a banger, though. I did listen to
It is.
her episode on Raw, and if you guys are unfamiliar with Caitlin's podcast, you should definitely check it out. It is called Plug It Up, and you can find that anywhere you get your podcast. She makes really good shit. And yeah, we do need to hop back on there. We were on an episode earlier this year of
The
her show. If you want to check
Omen.
that out, yeah, talk about the Omen. Yeah, thanks for calling, Caitlin. Hope your Randu buddy is doing well.
Yeah.
Give them our best.
Next up, we're gonna hear from our boy Hugh. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, this is Hugh calling. Just wanted to let you guys know I was never much into horror, and I ran across your podcast, and you guys are quite entertaining.
Whoa.
I really enjoy it, and I've started listening to the podcast, and then I see what movies, and I've watched a few. Like I said, I've never been into horror a lot, but I've really enjoyed it. I got to say, I'd never seen Halloween 6 Resurrection. I listened to the podcast first, and I had to know what was going on, and I watched that thing, and when we got to the half-eaten rat scene, I just lost it. Sleepaway Camp, never heard of it. I had never seen it. Watched the movie. That's got to be the best movie ever made, man. That that ending of that thing, that is crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to call and say I really enjoyed the podcast, and you've got me hooked into watching a lot of good horror movies, and I've decided to take your last week's movie, Coherence, and make a pickup line from the movie. And it goes like this. Hey, baby, do you want to know how I know that you're a 10? Because I've met 9 of you already tonight. Well, there you go. Keep up the good work. I enjoy the show. Thanks.
Phenomenal.
Pretty solid pickup
Damn,
line.
Hugh, hell of a voicemail. Good pickup
Yeah.
line.
That's a first.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know that I've ever had anybody tell us that we convinced them to watch horror.
Yeah,
Like,
It's
so
rare.
That,
Yeah.
that got me really curious as to how he found our podcast in the first place.
Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know. But
Stumbled across it, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Curious.
I love that he loves Sleepaway Camp.
Dude, me too. That was cracking.
what a
me up.
choice.
Yeah. For somebody who doesn't like horror,
Yeah.
to be
To
getting
jump
into
into-
horror and watch Sleepaway Camp and then think it's one of the greatest. That's hilarious.
That's fantastic.
That is,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You-
One of,
there's like usually a pretty big barrier for entry for that kind of movie.
I also love that we are encouraging people to watch Halloween Resurrection, and then that has become
Yeah.
a staple of our show. That fucking rat.
Jesus Christ. that
Fucking
rat.
rat.
Damn.
It's
Oh
got
my
the biggest
god.
That rat, that
chunk out of
fucking
it.
rat.
Oh my god. It's like the
I love
smallest
the
detail
rats.
in any Halloween film, and yet it's like a staple of our show.
Yeah. You had a meltdown, bro. You had a
Dude, that
You
shit
meltdown.
did.
cracked me up.
No, it didn't.
I
Really?
had like 2 meltdowns separately, and I have
You have a
since
meltdown every time
sometimes-
it comes up in
Dude,
conversation.
yeah, that shit cracks me
Like,
up still. It's like 4 years ago.
Still talking about it.
Yeah.
it's a potent rat.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm,
Bob. What's our?
I'm-
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm glad you came across us, Hugh, whether it was intentional or not, and really happy to hear that you're finding out some movies that you really enjoy by way of our dumb show. Thanks so much for calling, dude. Really good to hear from you.
Thank you. Hugh.
Yeah. Thanks for the words.
Last but not least, we're hearing from our boy Miles. Let's hear what he has to say.
What's going on, guys? It's Miles here. Just want to say congratulations to everybody that got a U-pick this go around. I know everybody was excited to get their movie watched, but I do have a message for everybody that won. You know, I thought somebody would pick up on this after I got it started last year with The Howling 2, but apparently I was too subtle. So, you know, like the great Dr. King, I also have a dream, and that is that one day the Straight Chilling crew will be forced to watch all of the Howling sequels before they finish other classic franchises like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, we need to review all of the Howling sequels. That's Howling 3, The Marsupials, Howling 4, The Original Nightmare, Howling 5, Rebirth, whatever the other ones are, up to, I think we get up to 7. Everybody who won a U-pick, take a different Howling sequel, and we can make this happen. That's all. Goodbye.
See, now I thought Miles was saying Halloween.
Me
2 at
too.
first. I was
I
like,
did
nope, we already
too.
put Justin's life on the line for that.
Yeah, me too. And then by the time
it's
he
Howling.
said Howling 7 or whatever, then I picked up on it. I was like, wait a
Right.
second. He's saying Howling.
Howling. Yeah.
Howling.
Yeah, from what I understand, I've only seen the first 3, but from what I gather, they're just absolutely unwatchable movies.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
Yeah.
We haven't even covered the original. I think we've only covered part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that is
Christopher
accurate.
Lee was in that, right?
Yeah,
the second one, yeah.
Big old role. Yep, big
Yeah.
meaty role for Chris.
Yeah. Killing it. That movie's wild as shit, man.
Yeah, it is.
Miles, I don't know. We'll see if everybody hears your call and decides to change their picks. We got most of them already, but if all of a sudden I get a flood of emails saying like Halloween 4, I'm saying Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Okay, wait. Am I losing my mind?
I'm gonna watch
I'm
Halloween
losing my
2 this year.
Halloween 2. My sister's a weremang.
The night he turned into a werewolf.
You know, the classic film. Everybody knows it. Miles, thanks for calling, man. There'll be more U picks to come next year. If nobody else does so, you'll just have to do them one at a time, my dude. One at a time. That's all we got as far as voicemails. Again, if you want to call in and leave a voicemail for next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Gentlemen, do you have any prompts you want to throw out for next week?
Yeah, I thought of one just based on Hugh's call. I wonder if anybody can call in with a story about them corrupting somebody with horror. Have you ever made a horror believer out of anybody? And I want to hear about it. It can be siblings, it could be friends, it could be whatever. I'm curious because it's a somewhat new sensation for me, at least in a public square. And I'm pretty jazzed about it. 'Tis the season to talk up and give thanks for our horror.
Spread the word. Spread the good word.
What's that number again, Bob?
904-638-3231. Let us know if you've ever converted someone to the religion of horror. That's going to do it for us this week here at Straight Chilling. We're going to be back next week with a brand new show as always. We're going to be talking about the winner of the September poll pick, which was Hell House LLC.
Ooh, now we're getting into the spooky stuff.
Dude.
We're getting into the spooky stuff.
Good gorge. We're doing it. We're like really going to do it. We're going so deep, man. We're doing it. It is a gift. Watch Hell House LLC. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can hit us up on Twitter at str8_chilling, on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send an email to straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to join in our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up at one of those social media outlets, and I'll send you a link so you can do so. We did get a couple new Slack joiners this past week, actually.
Yes.
Welcome aboard, everybody. It is wonderful to have you just in time for the spooky season, which is like perfect time to join, actually, if you're curious about Slack.
Yeah, we're getting around the 100 mark, I believe, on the Slack.
Creeping up on it. Creeping up on the triple dig, yeah.
Also, our YouTube's about to hit 3,000 subscribers, so thank you to everyone for that.
Damn, that's hard to believe, man.
Remember when we were begging for 100 so that we could
please give us
URL? You had to have 100 to get it like a custom URL. Like, please
give us.
Just go to http://www period.
By next year, we'll probably be up to 50,000 and then 1 million, or
we'll probably
straight to the top.
Our OnlyFans will be exploding. We'll get like $1 million a month from all of our shots.
Oh, I was like, you were describing our fans were going to explode. I was like, what are you fucking talking about?
No.
Our reign of terror is just beginning.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff in store for you guys rolling out throughout spooky season, so stay tuned. Until I'm just such a tease. Until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.